Factsverse presents Lynda Carter, a real-life Wonder Woman. Even though Wonder Woman stands to be one of the most famous comic book characters, it wasn't always like this. Wonder Woman, as well as her alter ego Diana Prince, was played by Lynda Carter in the popular 1970s show, which was significant in turning the character from a superhero to a cultural icon. Even though getting to participate in the Miss World competition and portraying a famous character may mean that you have a glamorous lifestyle, it wasn't always this way for Lynda Carter. She had to face a lot of challenges. We'll be discussing the challenges that were a part of Carter's life and why she was not part of the new Wonder Woman productions. Even though Lynda's breakthrough in acting was as Wonder Woman, her career had started much earlier in the field of entertainment. Her first appearance on TV was when she was only 5 years old in 1956. This was about 20 years before the Wonder Woman show debuted. She made her appearance on Lou King's talent show, not as an actress though. Lynda was very interested in singing. When she reached high school, she took singing extremely seriously. She sang in a band called Just Us, where she was accompanied by a marimba, an acoustic guitar, conga drums, as well as a stand-up bass. Later, she joined a band called The Relatives with two of her cousins. A year later, she left home and went on a tour with this band. Lynda was a feminist and was starting to become a strong activist. The Relatives did well for a band that had just started out. Earlier, she would only earn a small salary for working in her uncle's diner. Now she earned up to $50 every night for singing. Her band was very popular, and they even got a 3-month-long stay at Sahara Hotel and Casino Lounge, which is located in Las Vegas. However, since she was only 18 then and not 21, which is the required age to enter the casino, she had to be snuck in through the kitchen. Even though Lynda had moved out of her house to pursue singing with the Relatives, she did pay attention to her schoolwork. Even though she was busy with her Las Vegas shows, she managed to get an academic scholarship at the Arizona State University. She was even voted most talented in high school, but this success would not be last. Even though she was doing well in university, she was dedicated with her touring lifestyle. So she decided to leave Arizona State University and dedicate herself to singing full-time. Since her parents were worried, she told her father she would mail him paychecks so that she could save up. When she was touring, she traveled a lot. She learned a lot about music theory from many jazz musicians. She performed in a lot of places like Borscht Belt lounges in New York, honky-tonk joints in the South, and so on. Although she was receiving good education in the field of music as well as performing, there was something else which had begun to bother her. One day, when Lynda was out in the Midwest, she saw a 30-something-year-old lounge singer walking on stage. She was a good singer. However, she was not a star. The glamour of the touring lifestyle had somewhat worn off her palpably. Carter says that when she woke up the next day, she could not stop crying because she felt like that would be her situation in 10 years. This experience was a wake-up call for Lynda. After she let her band know, she went back home to her parents because she had a lot to think about. After rethinking her decision, she came to the conclusion that while she enjoyed music, she wanted to try something else as well. With beautiful blue eyes, a height of 5'9", and striking long black hair, Carter knew she looked good, so she joined a modeling agency. Within the first month of modeling, Lynda had been crowned Miss Phoenix, Miss Arizona, and even Miss World USA. To someone watching from outside, it may seem like Carter was a natural in this field. Her mother was extremely proud of her achievement. However, Lynda did not feel comfortable with this new career. Carter went on her career path, and in 1972, she represented the USA in the International Beauty Pageant, where she reached the semifinals. This trajectory, however, did not make her happy. When she came back home from the Miss World competition, she decided to take a break from modeling. She decided to focus on music once more. She went to England, where she successfully recorded many singles with EMI. After this, she moved to Los Angeles, which is the entertainment capital of the USA. Here, she went on to pursue her career in music. She played gigs, and she made a living by singing in many advertising jingles. Along with her singing career, she started to consider something else, a possible career in acting. In LA, she started taking lessons in acting from Charles E. Conrad. He was one of the well-known acting coaches in the acting industry. Along with Conrad's teaching and her Miss World USA crown, she began getting many opportunities for herself. She started by making small appearances in several TV movies, along with TV shows like Cause and Starsky and Hutch. Even though Lynda had started to do well in this field, she was, once again, not happy with where she was headed. Lynda noticed a pattern regarding the types of roles she was being cast in. She was constantly playing the pretty girl. Although this did land her a spot as a member of the SAG-AFTRA, which would allow her to get cast in bigger roles in acting, she felt as though this was not much different from when she was in the modeling industry. This is when an opportunity came, which would address Carter's dread and also change her life. Even though she played small roles on TV and in movies, and with her work in radio jingles, the acting lifestyle weighed heavily on her savings. Her funds were almost over, so she was considering going back home to her parents. This is when she got a phone call from her manager. Lynda had been cast in the role of Wonder Woman. Thanks to her good performance, she was now going to be a main character in a TV show. In 1975, Lynda got the opportunity to act in a new superhero TV show by Warner Brothers and DC Comics. The role had transformed not only her life, but also feminist ideologies as women's rights. Lynda was set to perform a character whose name was Diana Prince. Diana's character comes from a secluded island situated in the Pacific named Paradise. It was inhabited by the Amazon, who are stunning women who never age and blessed with strength, intelligence, and agility. When an American plane crash lands on the island in between the WW2, Diana has been selected to return the pilot back to America in her invisible jet. She sports an American flag-inspired outfit and goes to the USA, armed with a golden belt which holds the source of her powers, bullet-deflecting bracelets, as well as the golden lasso of truth. In the USA, she becomes known as Wonder Woman. Over the years, Wonder Woman's character took on more feminine roles. Wonder Woman joined the Justice League as their secretary, and later she became a boutique owner. In the 1970s, however, when second-wave feminism began to gain momentum in the public discourse, studio executives understood that it was time for a superhero show that was headed by a woman, so they revamped Diana Prince. Just like the 1940s comics, she was turned into a superhero, this time as a live-action version. Lynda's performance as Diana, along with the excellent costumes and catchy theme song, made her into an icon, which even surpassed the comics themselves. As the show's second season started, when someone said Wonder Woman, the image that came to mind was not that of the comics, but of Lynda flying in her invisible plane in her red, white, and blue outfit. One of Wonder Woman's iconic movies is dedicated to Lynda. The producers were trying to come up with a way for Diana to transform into her Wonder Woman outfit. This is when Lynda suggested that she spins in her normal clothes and to get the camera to crossfade to her spinning around in her Wonder Woman outfit. While the second season of Wonder Woman was going on, Carter signed a modeling contract with the cosmetics company Maybelline. Even though she was successful, she would start facing problems. After only three seasons, the Wonder Woman show was taken down by the show's producers. However, Lynda's role as Wonder Woman was not over. Lynda did not make a cameo in the Wonder Woman film. In 1978, the show was canceled. Now Lynda was again seeking direction in life. Even though Wonder Woman had ended, her modeling career with Maybelline went well. In 1982, Maybelline hosted a dinner in Lynda's honor. This is where Lynda met Robert A. Altman, who was working as a lawyer for Maybelline's parent company at the time. They got married in 1984. This is when Lynda had a difficult decision to make. While Lynda had a flourishing career in LA, her partner lived in the DC area. They understood that one of them would have to sacrifice their demanding jobs to be with the other. Lynda thought about it and decided she would leave LA for him. Over the next few years, the couple concentrated the most on their relationship. In the year of 1987, they built a house in Maryland, and soon their first child, a son, was born. Soon, a daughter was born. Lynda did make an occasional appearance on TV shows or films, but it would be many decades later that she would lead a more career-oriented life. Her son James and daughter Jessica are both trained as lawyers. Even then, they have both gotten their mother's creative gene. Jessica has even recorded and performed several songs alongside her mother on many of her albums.
The case of the super-revealing Wonder Woman bikini. When the live-action TV series Wonder Woman premiered in November of 1975, it was seen as a risk for ABC. The show was incredibly expensive to produce, and the network didn't find the prospect of a second season feasible. The show could have come to an end after season 1, but CBS picked it up and produced 2 more. Legend has it the reason CBS picked it up was because its studio head was enamored of the revealing costume worn by star Lynda Carter. And if that CBS head enjoyed the strapless costume that Wonder Woman wore, he would have loved the 2-piece bikini that was initially intended to be her swimsuit. Of course, those familiar with the series know that Lynda Carter adorned a full-body blue swimsuit whenever the character of Wonder Woman needed to get wet. But the original swimsuit costume that was designed for the character was a good deal more revealing and colorful. The bikini Lynda Carter was supposed to wear was red, white, and blue. The reason it couldn't be used wasn't because the censors found it too revealing. Instead, the reason was a good deal more humorous. As it turns out, wardrobe malfunctions kept happening whenever she tried to put on the bikini. Lynda tried to film several scenes with the red, white, and blue bikini, but each time, the top half of the bikini would slip off. Whenever this happened, she was fully revealed for the cameras. As one might imagine, this wasn't the most comfortable experience for the actress. The full-body blue swimsuit was rushed into production in the bikini's stead, and the rest is history. Wonder Woman had numerous costume variants. Though Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman wore her full-body blue bathing suit when the situation called for it, most of the time she could be found in her more iconic signature costume. Of course, that was the strapless red and blue outfit emblazoned in gold with white stars on the shorts. Some may not realize that Wonder Woman actually had two distinct versions of this main costume over the course of the series. During the more expensive first season on ABC, Wonder Woman had an outfit emblazoned specifically with a gold eagle. The first season of the show took place during World War II, and its period setting was a big part of why it was so expensive to produce. When Wonder Woman was picked up by CBS, a number of changes were made to make the production more economical. One such change involved the show no longer being a period piece. During the second and third seasons, the character of Wonder Woman was in then modern times. There were other changes made that didn't have to do with budget constraints. For one, the character of Wonder Woman was given a slight costume change. The golden eagle that Wonder Woman's costume was emblazoned with was deemed too militaristic for the second season's modernized setting. A new costume was created that switched out the eagle for a more generic gold design. Lynda Carter continued wearing this slightly altered costume over the course of the show's remaining run. Though the character wore two main costumes, there's only one Lynda Carter still holds on to. Lynda Carter triumphed in the role of Wonder Woman. Lynda didn't mind how revealing her Wonder Woman costume was. She adored playing the heroic comic book character and still takes every opportunity she can to pay respects. The actress truly gave her time as Wonder Woman her all, and even stepped up to perform some of her own stunts. One time, the crew of the show even got in trouble because it let Lynda perform a stunt deemed too dangerous. This occurred when the crew decided the stuntwoman that had been hired to perform Lynda's stunts didn't look realistic enough during the filming of a certain scene where Wonder Woman was supposed to be hanging from a helicopter. This resulted in Lynda being coerced into filming the scene herself. Though the actress was game, the producers were said to have been furious once they caught wind of what happened. To them, Lynda was a commodity, and the crew had endangered their money. Lynda Carter thankfully survived the risky filming, and the incident resulted in a story that adds to the overall legend of her portrayal of Wonder Woman. Though the show ended its run over 4 decades ago, and the character is now getting her own Hollywood movies, many still consider Lynda's Wonder Woman to be the most iconic. A big part of the appeal of Lynda's Wonder Woman is undeniably the iconic main costume she wore. When the situation called for it, Wonder Woman also had other variants of her costume that she could pull out to aid her during her crime fighting. Roy Rogers thought Lynda Carter was too undressed. Wonder Woman changed into a full-body blue swimsuit when she needed to go in the water, but she also had other situational costumes that some fans might not remember. There was a Western-themed episode called The Bushwhackers, and it featured notable Western actor Roy Rogers in a guest-starring role. In addition to its Western theming and famous guest star, the episode is also notable for being a rare one-off costume change for Wonder Woman. Some claim it was at Roy Rogers' insistence that the character be given a less revealing costume for the episode. However, others say the costume change simply occurred because the main costume didn't work well for the scenes that called for riding on a horse. Either way, the change resulted in a new and memorable costume. There's also the motorcycle variant that the character wore at various appropriate times during the live-action series. Whenever the character needed to go on a motorcycle or some craft of the sort, she would adorn a suit designed for the situation. From a layman's perspective, the suit was just the full-body swimsuit plus some goggles and a helmet. There was also a different outfit that Wonder Woman wore while she was skateboarding. This outfit had arm pads and its own unique helmet, which was red and gold. Another part of Wonder Woman's overall wardrobe was her iconic bracelets. In the comics, these bracelets helped the character control her rage. For the live-action series, the creative choice was made to give her belt this power instead. Still, the bracelets worn by Wonder Woman in the series had plenty of power on their own, as they could deflect bullets. And Wonder Woman also had her lasso. Which costume does Lynda Carter prefer? Lynda grew incredibly attached to Wonder Woman's costume over the course of filming. When actress Deborah Winger was invited onto the program to play her sister, Lynda demanded the new character's costume have as little in common with hers as possible. Lynda didn't want the new costume to simply be a copy and paste job, as she felt such a thing would detract from the power of her own costume. The actress still holds her Wonder Woman costume in reverence, but some may be surprised to find out which iteration she still has. Recently, she shared via social media that she still keeps the original Wonder Woman costume encased in glass. The costume the actress keeps is the one worn by the character during the series' World War II first season, with the emblazoned gold eagle.
Lynda Carter was born in Phoenix, Arizona on July 24, 1951. She was the youngest of three, though she ended up towering over her older siblings at a young age. She went on to become 5'11", making her the perfect choice to bring the Amazonian character to life years later. As a child, Lynda's parents enrolled her in dance and drama classes, and she continued studying the arts into her teen years. By the time she was ready to go to college, she'd trained in drama and dance for years, but she still felt receiving a formal education at Arizona State University might be worth a try. Not too long into her tenure there, she changed her mind and decided that continuing her formal education wasn't the best option. In high school, she had begun performing with a band called Just Us. While attending ASU, that band was given the opportunity to tour America. Feeling that touring could provide her with more opportunities than continuing her college education, Lynda dropped out. Her days touring America with her high school band came to an end in 1972, and she subsequently had to come up with something else to fill her time, given that the tour had not proved successful enough. Still not wanting to go back to college, Lynda decided to pursue a career in modeling with the help of her immense good looks and statuesque demeanor. Lynda found quite a bit of success modeling and went on to win some notable local beauty pageants before eventually being crowned Miss USA in 1973. By this point, it was hard to deny that Lynda had a very promising future. Upon being crowned Miss USA, she started getting attention from producers in Hollywood. Some of her earliest acting roles were in TV series like Starsky and Hutch and Cause. It was through these successful turns that Lynda was given the opportunity to play Wonder Woman, which came on the air in '76. Prior to the start of the series, the character debuted in a 1975 special that served as the public's introduction to Lynda in the role. Wonder Woman became a massive success for ABC, and it also turned Lynda into a household name. There had initially been some fear that audiences wouldn't relate to a female superhero, but this fear thankfully turned out untrue. The series was a massive success, and the public adored Lynda's performance. Even still, it's hard for many fans of the character to look at any other actress in the role and not compare her unfavorably to Lynda Carter. Although many fans have received recent Wonder Woman Gal Gadot warmly, many others feel she doesn't have the same statuesque demeanor as Lynda Carter. Gal has actually received Lynda's blessing. Lynda made an appearance in Wonder Woman 1984 as a character called Asteria, and she's set to reprise her role as the character in the film's upcoming sequel. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts First for more. And stick around for more about Lynda Carter. Although the CBS network had initially felt they were taking a gamble on the 1970s television series Wonder Woman due to the fact that its hero was female, the show was a success. Lynda Carter, the character she played, and the show itself all became sensations throughout the latter half of the decade, with the show airing for 3 seasons before finally coming to a close in 1979. Though one might have expected the show to last for a few more years, given how successful it was, the intensive and expensive nature of the show's production meant producing more seasons after the third wasn't the most profitable prospect, especially given that Lynda's fame throughout the show's run meant her price tag was growing exponentially. After Wonder Woman ended in 1979, Lynda continued working in the industry and is still working today. In addition to continuing to act, Lynda has also maintained her skills as a singer. She's even made successful attempts at stepping into the recording industry in recent years. Some of the many TV series she's appeared on include 2.5 Men, Smallville, and Law & Order. Meanwhile, she could be seen in the 2005 film adaptation of The Dukes of Hazzard, and achieved some acclaim for her role in a West End London production of the play Chicago. Besides acting and singing, Lynda Carter also has continued modeling throughout her career.
During the 80s, she was the go-to model for the Maybelline Cosmetics company based out of New York. Throughout the 90s, she could be seen performing similar duties for the direct mail order contact lens company Lens Express. At age 70, Lynda still looks great, though it's hard to deny the power of looking at pictures of her in her prime. Though Lynda hasn't played Wonder Woman for many years, she continues to portray the character or ones related to her in various ways. In 2016, Lynda got a prominent guest starring role on the CW television series Supergirl. Lynda played President Olivia Marsden, and DC Comics fans were ecstatic to see the actress step back into that universe. A year after that, Wonder Woman was released in theaters, the first official media featuring the character in live-action form since the 70s. Fans were anxious to see how the actress chosen to perform Wonder Woman would compare to Lynda Carter. While she didn't appear in 2017's Wonder Woman to make any kind of cameo, she did give her blessing to both the film and Gal's performance. Patty Jenkins directed the film, and she expressed interest in finding a role for Lynda in the sequel. Patty made good on this promise, as Wonder Woman 1984 featured Lynda in a fairly prominent role. She appeared as the character Asteria, and it seems she'll be returning for its sequel. While Lynda has seen immense success over the course of her career, she's had periods in her personal life where she's struggled with alcoholism. According to Lynda, she suffered most heavily from the disease during the 1990s, though she ended up being able to kick the habit after checking into rehab. She says she's been sober ever since, and she looks great for being 70. In 1977, while performing Wonder Woman, Lynda Carter tied the knot with her talent agent. This was a man named Ron Samuels. But unfortunately, the marriage didn't last long. They were divorced by 1982, at which point Lynda was single for 2 years before marrying her second husband, Robert Altman, though not that Robert Altman. Lynda's Robert Altman was a lawyer, not a Hollywood director, and the two remained married until his recent passing in 2021. Did Lynda Carter pose for Playboy? Recently, some memorabilia featuring former Wonder Woman actress Lynda Carter was being auctioned off when a rare item drew the public's attention. The rare item was a mock Playboy centerfold that featured Lynda baring her breasts. Despite the fact that Lynda Carter played a housewife who posed for Playboy in a 1991 made-for-TV feature called I Posed for Playboy, Lynda Carter herself has never posed for the magazine. Because of this, the centerfold raised a lot of questions. It didn't take long for people to realize the centerfold was actually a prop from the movie Apocalypse Now. Die-hard Apocalypse Now fans have likely been aware for a while about Lynda Carter's involvement in the classic war film during its early production. Before Lynda rose to fame playing Wonder Woman, she was cast in a minor role. That minor role was Miss May. Miss May appears during a USO show to entertain the troops, and that show goes terribly wrong when the soldiers get a little too excited. After being cast in the role, Lynda Carter did a little bit of location shooting on a gigantic USO show set that had been created for the film in the Philippines. She also went about posing for the picture that was used to create the mock centerfold. Her time working on Apocalypse Now was cut short as a result of Typhoon Olga, which happened in May of 1976. The typhoon destroyed the USO show set that had been constructed for the film, and it was going to need to be rebuilt before filming resumed. During this period of time, she returned to America. While there, the burgeoning actress received the great news she'd received the role of Wonder Woman on the classic show. Lynda Carter ended up quitting Apocalypse Now. One can imagine Lynda wasn't incredibly excited about telling Francis Ford Coppola she was no longer going to be able to work on his film. The production of Apocalypse Now was so turbulent, there was a documentary created about it, and many consider this documentary to be even more harrowing than the film itself. A telltale sign of Apocalypse Now's troubled production is the fact that the movie was being filmed in 1976, yet wasn't finished and released until 1979. Lynda Carter went on to portray the character of Wonder Woman, and Francis Ford Coppola had to go about recasting Miss May. He ended up turning his sights on another then-unknown actress named Colleen Camp. Colleen played the character and also recreated the Playboy centerfold Lynda had posed for. Though Colleen posed for her own centerfold, most claim that the original Lynda Carter Playboy centerfold can still be seen in both popular cuts of Apocalypse Now. The theatrical cut was the first to be released, and it seems some of the footage shot before Lynda Carter left production was included in the final product. However, when the character of Miss May appears in person, the actress portraying her is most certainly always Colleen Camp. Still, it's pretty interesting that Lynda Carter not only makes a small appearance in Apocalypse Now, but it also features her topless.
For the most part, Apocalypse Now was a critical success. The scene featuring the character of Miss May is just one small part of the epic film that makes it so memorable. The loss of Lynda Carter is far from being the only hurdle that Coppola had to overcome. There's also the fact that one of his lead stars showed up to work completely out of shape and nearly unable to speak. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Miss May didn't get any lines in the theatrical cut. The character of Miss May is one of the only female characters in Apocalypse Now, and she doesn't have any lines. The character's role is slightly increased in 2001's Apocalypse Now Redux, which stands as Francis Ford Coppola's preferred cut. The increased role of Miss May is one of many things that Apocalypse Now Redux adds to the theatrical cut of the film. However, there are still plenty who prefer the much more condensed theatrical cut. The original was well over 2 hours, and the Apocalypse Now Redux is well over 3. The USO show scene is only one small part of Apocalypse Now, but it's among the most memorable towards the first half of the film. USO shows were common during the Vietnam War, and they didn't typically end as poorly as the fictional one displayed in Apocalypse Now. Thankfully, Miss May and the other playmates are saved by their MC before the soldiers can get their hands on them. Besides Colleen Camp as Miss May, Apocalypse Now also featured actresses Cynthia Wood and Linda Carpenter as other playmates. Colleen Camp went on to find some modest success soon after the movie was released due to her subsequent roles in comedy films, though she's never become the same kind of household name as Lynda Carter. More trivia about the USO show scene. In Apocalypse Now, Miss May and the other Playboy playmates are saved from the horny soldiers by their MC, a character played by a close and personal friend of Francis Ford Coppola. That was Bill Graham, who was a notable music promoter. His work as a music promoter made him the perfect person to play the MC. The set that was built for the USO show scene of Apocalypse Now was created specifically for the film. Not only that, it had to be created twice. It was built before Typhoon Olga occurred. Ironically, the destruction of the set by the typhoon was actually considered a blessing by Francis Ford Coppola. Soon after the first set was constructed, Francis was devastated to realize he'd made a faulty calculation. He had the set constructed inland, but such a USO stage during the actual war would have needed to have been on the shore due to so many soldiers arriving by boat. Upon realizing the mistake he had made, Francis told the rest of the production team he wanted the set to be destroyed and rebuilt. This was considered too ridiculous of a demand, and Francis was eventually forced to accept he was going to have to find some way to film that scene without showing the audience that the set wasn't on the shore. However, Typhoon Olga intervened. Though Typhoon Olga made it so Francis had to recast Lynda Carter, it also gave him the opportunity to get his proper seaside USO show set. Apocalypse Now had other casting issues. Francis Ford Coppola certainly had to deal with performers much more flaky than Lynda Carter during the filming of the classic war film. After working with Marlon Brando in The Godfather, Francis brought the actor back to appear in an important role in Apocalypse Now. However, Marlon didn't take the role very seriously. He promised to do such things as lose weight for the role and read the book the film was based on. He did neither. Not only this, he was also essentially unintelligible during filming as a result of his increasing personal issues. Francis ended up finding a way to make Marlon work in the feature, and most fans of the film think the actor's bizarre appearance only adds to the movie's unique atmosphere. Putting down the bottle. She recently told the Daily Mail she's grateful for overcoming one particularly difficult battle, alcoholism. In that interview, the 69-year-old revealed she's been in recovery for 23 years now. Carter further detailed she didn't even start drinking until she was in her mid-20s. Her experience with alcohol was like a roller coaster ride. At first, she would drink heavily for several years straight, then take several years off thinking she had things under control. Eventually, though, she would convince herself she had the willpower to just have one drink without any repercussions. But every time it was the same story. The second she tasted that first sip of booze, she'd be off to the races again. Addiction has a cunning way of convincing someone they're in control when they really aren't. A false sense of confidence can spell disaster for someone struggling to put the bottle down. No single reason. No sane person sets out to become an alcoholic. Typically, the underlying reasons for someone's alcoholism are numerous. There are genetic, environmental, social, and arguably even spiritual factors at play, depending on who you ask. Some people always seem to have a problem with alcohol and self-control, while others experience a gradual worsening of their alcoholism over time. Carter admits there's a history of alcoholism in her family, but that hers was exacerbated by the fact that she had developed poor coping mechanisms for dealing with her problems. When she first started drinking, she was in a very unhappy marriage with her first husband and former talent manager, Ron Samuels. It was a very trying time for Carter. She and her husband were constantly at odds with each other. After the honeymoon phase of their relationship wore off, it was nothing but misery. They were together from 1977 to 82. Fortunately, Carter has since found love once again. She married her current husband, attorney and businessman Robert Altman, in 1981. They have 2 children together. Her son, James Clifford Altman, was born in 1988, and her daughter Jessica was born in 1990. Carter and her husband moved away from Hollywood more than 3 decades ago. She and her family currently live in Potomac, Maryland. Carter is deeply devoted to her family. She was able to overcome her alcoholism by putting them first. Prioritizing what's important and learning healthier ways to cope with life's struggles has given her the opportunity to heal. Opposites attract. Carter told the Daily Mail that she and Altman's marriage is evenly balanced because they both have such different personalities. She described Altman as being smart, charming, and even-tempered while still having a great sense of humor. While around other people, he has the tendency to be more self-contained and reserved. Lynda, however, was quick to point out that she's quite the opposite. Whenever she's around a crowd of people, she tends to be the one seeking attention. The Wonder Woman years. Carter is grateful for her time on Wonder Woman. The show ran from 1975 to 79. When she landed the role, she was struggling to even pay her rent. In fact, she apparently only had $25 in her bank account when she got the phone call with the good news. The opportunity was quite literally life-changing for her. It's amazing the show even got off the ground. Network executives didn't think there was even a market for a female heading a series like Wonder Woman at the time. Women had all the purchasing power back then because they did all the shopping, but it was men who dominated the TV screen. Wonder Woman, however, proved to be a hit with both male and female audiences. Carter explained to Variety in 2016 why she thinks Wonder Woman has continued to resonate with people after all these years. She explained that humanity is still fighting the same fight we were 75 years ago when the heroine was first conceived. We still need more female role models, she says. She continued by pointing out Wonder Woman is so much more than a cartoon character. She's a fighter for justice and truth. She represents that secret self that exists deep inside every woman and girl. She concluded, there's a moral fiber and a goodness about her that all women have. Carter's later projects. Although she isn't necessarily the most prolific performer, Carter has stayed steadily busy since Wonder Woman wrapped up in 1979. She's continued to explore her acting as well as her musical career. She's given live performances in Las Vegas, in addition to guest starring on numerous TV shows like Law & Order, Smallville, and 2.5 Men. From 1994 to 1995, she played the role of Elizabeth Shields on the short-lived adventure series Hawkeye. She then appeared in the Dukes of Hazzard reboot film in 2005 and portrayed Mama Morton in the production of the musical Chicago in London's West End Theatre District. Carter was also the spokesmodel for both Maybelline in the 80s and for Lens Express in the 90s. In 2016, she played U.S. President Olivia Marsden in 5 episodes of CBS's Supergirl. In addition to acting, modeling, and singing, Carter is also an accomplished voice actress. Her husband Robert Altman is the CEO of ZeniMax Media, the parent company for Bethesda Game Studios. In 2002, she voiced several characters in The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind. She went on to voice numerous characters for several other Bethesda games, including Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Rage 2. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And don't go anywhere yet, we still have a bunch of facts to share about Lynda Carter from her years on Wonder Woman. She performed many of her own stunts. Carter has always been fairly fearless. Even though she had her own stunt double, she often performed her own stunts when given the opportunity. While shooting the helicopter stunt on the Season 2 episode Anschluss 77, it became apparent her double looked nothing like her in that particular shot. Instead of running with it anyway, she decided to go ahead and do it herself. And really, she did it for her fans. Not only did she not want to waste time finding another body double, but she also wanted to make sure the shot reflected the standards of quality she knew the viewing audience expected. So she held onto that helicopter and let it lift her up 50 feet into the air. Honestly, it was probably fun. She came up with the Wonder Woman twirl. Carter told Entertainment Weekly back in 2005 her signature spinning move was her idea. She cited her background in dancing as a contributing factor to her coming up with the idea. The producers were all sitting around arguing about how she should make her transformation, and she decided to speak up. She volunteered to do a spin or a pirouette, and just like that, the Wonder Woman spin was born. She had previously auditioned for Wonder Woman. It would seem Carter was always destined to be Wonder Woman. She had previously auditioned for the part of the hero for a 1974 TV film, but the role was given to Kathy Lee Crosby instead. We don't think she has hard feelings though, because just a year later, she was called back to star in the weekly series. Carter preferred the 70s version of Wonder Woman. The first season of Wonder Woman was set in the 1940s, which meant its production was much more expensive. After the show jumped networks after season 1, the production team decided to bring Wonder Woman into the modern age to save money. And since Wonder Woman ages slower than mere mortals, the time jump didn't raise too many questions. Carter later admitted she preferred the 70s version because she thought she performed better in the modern setting. She cared deeply about a crew member. There was one time when the son of Carter's body double, Jeannie Eppers, was made fun of by his classmates after telling them his mom played Wonder Woman on TV. After hearing this, Carter decided to invite his entire class out to the set for a field trip to see Eppers in action. Lynda Carter is certainly an inspiration. Not only is she a feminist icon for her role as Wonder Woman, but she's also a role model for those in recovery from alcoholism and addiction. 23 years is a long time to not have a sip of alcohol. That takes willpower, perseverance, and hard work. We wish Lynda well in her continued journey of recovery, and we hope to see more of her in the future. Her early life. Lynda Carter was born Lynda Jean Cordova Carter to a mother of Mexican-Spanish descent and an English-Irish father. She was interested in showbiz early on in life. At age 5, she made her music debut in her hometown of Phoenix, Arizona. In high school, she performed in a band called Just Us. At 16, she joined 2 of her cousins in a new band called The Relatives. They opened at a popular Las Vegas hotel and lounge for 3 months. Because Lynda was underage, she had to use the kitchen entrance. She attended Arizona State University, but soon dropped out to pursue a career in music. In 1970, she joined Speedy Garfin and the Garfin Gathering on tour as a singer. She was with the group for 2 more years before leaving to pursue a career as an actress in 1972. Rise to stardom. Lynda gained nationwide attention in America by winning Miss World USA 1972, representing Arizona. She even finished in the top 15 at the Miss World pageant. Not long after winning her crown, Hollywood came knocking. She had already begun taking acting classes in New York and making appearances in TV shows such as Cause and Starsky and Hutch. But it was her powerful role as Wonder Woman in 1975 that made her a notable star. The show initially started out as a special on ABC, but by 1976, the network turned it into a series. After the first season, CBS picked it up and aired it for a few more years. The show was a huge success despite fear from the networks that a female lead wouldn't be popular. In an interview with the Daily Mail, Carter said that TV executives didn't think there was a market for a female holding a role like Wonder Woman. Her role as Wonder Woman opened up a world of opportunities for her in TV, movies, and music. In March of 1977, she was a guest star on The Jackson Show alongside Michael Jackson and his family. 1981 saw Carter as a presenter at the 8th American Music Awards. She also had her own TV specials that featured guests like Leo Sayer, Kenny Rogers, Tom Jones, Jerry Reed, and others. These were so wildly successful that the third one, titled Celebration, went on to win an Emmy. Her most recent appearances in TV shows and movies include her role as President Olivia Marsden on the hit TV show Supergirl and the 2018 film Super Troopers 2. Tragedies are a part of life, and everyone, celebrity or not, has gone through some pretty tough times. And Lynda Carter is no different. Her mother had Alzheimer's. In 2003, Carter's mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease at age 79. For Lynda, her mother, who was known as Jean, had always been a driving force in her life, supporting her throughout her career. At the time of her diagnosis, Jean was living alone in Phoenix, where she'd raised her 3 children. Carter, who lives outside Washington, would fly out every couple months to visit Jean in Arizona. Over time, she began to observe some changes in her mother's behavior and signs of cognitive decline. In the February 2020 issue of Brain and Life, Carter sheds more light on how the disease affected her mother. Quote, "She would get angry if she had to drive at night." Jean, who'd been totally independent and social, was now suddenly reluctant to drive. Jean's health soon became an issue that could no longer be overlooked when she fell in her home. Luckily, Carter's brother Vincent found her and took her to the doctor, who discovered her toenails had grown so long they interfered with her walking. The doctor advised it was no longer safe for her to live alone, so she moved into a facility where she could be better cared for. The move helped Carter's mother become a happier person. One thing was paramount for Carter during her mother's illness: preserving her dignity. She made sure to never play the "don't you remember" game with her, but no matter what, Jean always remembered her daughter. She died at age 89 in 2013. After her mother's death, Carter began lending her name and support to Maria Shriver's Women's Alzheimer's movement. She's also a supporter of the Translational Genomics Research Institute in their effort to end the suffering caused by Alzheimer's. She struggled with alcoholism. Carter has, to a large extent, managed to avoid scandals in her career, which is why it may surprise you to learn about the 70-year-old's struggle with alcoholism. She admits she didn't begin drinking until her mid-20s and would take 2 or 3 year breaks only to start drinking again. Sadly, there's a history of alcoholism in her family and a well-known connection between alcohol dependence and genetics. During the time Carter began drinking heavily, she was unhappily married to her first husband, talent manager Ron Samuels. They were married from 1977 to 82. Carter did find love again and was married 2 years later to video game exec Robert Altman. She decided to seek help at the urging of her husband, who pleaded with her to think of their children. Although her children never saw her out of control, her alcohol addiction prevented her from being there for them in the way she should have. Now 23 years in recovery, Carter is committed to help others who are struggling and to take the stigma out of alcoholism. She lost her husband. Lynda met Robert Altman in 1982 at a dinner party hosted by Maybelline. Carter was the face of the cosmetics label, and Altman was the attorney for the parent company. The chemistry between them was undeniable. 2 years later, they were married, and so began 37 years of marriage that ended this February after Robert's death. He died of myelofibrosis, a rare blood cancer. Carter and Altman shared a wonderful life. They had 2 children, James Altman, 33, an attorney, and Jessica Carter Altman, an attorney turned singer-songwriter. Robert's death has been difficult for Carter and has taken her months to finally talk about. Robert was her support in tough times, and she was his. He encouraged her to seek help when she struggled with alcohol addiction. In 1993, when Altman was on trial, Carter stood by his side as he maintained his innocence. He was acquitted of all charges. Carter gushes about her late husband. She describes him as someone fun to be with and a good sport, who encouraged her to try new things. Until his death, he was the CEO of ZeniMax, a video game company. Carter truly embodies the character of Wonder Woman in her daily life. Her ability to push through the most tragic events in her life and remain relevant in Hollywood is amazing. On October 29th, she released a song titled Human and Divine. It's a tribute to her late husband, Robert. Carter says she was also inspired by the bittersweet love shared by Diana Prince and Steve Trevor in the Wonder Woman 1984 film. Wonder Woman 3 has yet to receive a release date, but fans are looking forward to seeing Carter reprise her role as Asteria. There's no denying Lynda Carter is strong. She's proof human beings can overcome tragedy to create something beautiful. We look forward to hearing more amazing music from her.
Lynda Carter's daughter is just stunning. During the 1970s, Lynda Carter turned heads all across America as she donned her iconic and revealing Wonder Woman outfit on television. Today, people seem to be more interested in Lynda's daughter. That daughter would be 30-year-old Jessica, who is notoriously private and has kept a low profile in the media. Still, when she made a rare appearance on social media recently, fans couldn't help but notice her striking resemblance to her famous mother. With piercing blue eyes, gorgeous golden locks, and a megawatt smile, Jessica is a sight to behold. Jessica Altman is the daughter of Lynda Carter and her husband Robert Altman. No, it's not the same Robert Altman responsible for directing classic films like Nashville and The Long Goodbye. Instead, this Robert Altman was the chairman and CEO of a company called ZeniMax Media. While Lynda passed down her looks to her daughter, Jessica's father passed down his entrepreneurial spirit. Today, Jessica is a successful designer and entrepreneur, having founded her own company called Roxy's in 2013. Roxy's offers a line of healthy snacks and treats that are vegan, gluten-free, and made with natural ingredients. With her hard work and dedication, Jessica has turned Roxy's into a thriving business, with her products being sold both in stores and online. Her focus on providing healthy options has earned her a loyal following, and some major media outlets have even recognized her company publicly. Of course, Jessica's success has not gone unnoticed by her famous mother. Lynda has been incredibly proud of her daughter's accomplishments, often sharing updates on social media and attending events to support Roxy's. In a recent interview, Lynda expressed her admiration for her daughter, saying, quote, "Jessica's entrepreneurial spirit, dedication, and hard work are truly inspiring. I couldn't be prouder of her and her accomplishments." It's always heartwarming to see a close-knit family supporting each other's passions and successes. Lynda Carter and Jessica Altman are the perfect example of a proud mother and accomplished daughter making a positive impact in their respective fields. Jessica Altman is a musician. Besides being a stunning beauty and a successful entrepreneur, Jessica is also a pretty successful musician. She's a talented singer-songwriter, having released several records over the years. Some of her most notable work includes songs such as Steady, Saturday Night, and Velocity. Jessica's journey in music began in her teenage years when she started playing the guitar and singing in local coffee shops around her hometown of DC. It didn't take long for her talent to catch the attention of others, and soon she was playing at larger venues and festivals. In 2009, Jessica released her first EP titled Under the Influence, which consisted of 6 original songs. The EP showcased her unique sound and lyrical ability, drawing comparisons to artists like Norah Jones and Fiona Apple. It was a huge success and put her on the map in the music industry. Since then, Jessica has continued to make music and has released several more albums over the years. Her most recent release is Brand New Thing, a collection of rock-infused pop songs that showcase her versatile vocal range and hard-hitting lyrics. Aside from the music that she's released as a musician, Jessica is also a vocal coach who has helped many aspiring artists find their own voices. She's a big proponent of empowering women in music and encourages her students to be their authentic selves. If Lynda Carter has shared in interviews that she thinks incredibly highly of her daughter, it appears the sentiment goes both ways. Recently, Jessica spoke about her adoration and respect for her iconic mother. In an interview with Access Online, she shared how grateful she is for the lessons her mother taught her throughout her life. According to Altman, her mother is more wonderful than her famous Wonder Woman character. Altman explained her mother's teachings on how to be brave have been invaluable to her, especially during difficult times. It's inspiring to hear about the close bond between Carter and her daughter and the impact she's had on Altman's life. It's a testament to the power of strong mother-daughter relationships and the importance of being a positive role model. Jessica and her mom had a hard time getting over their shared loss. It's good that Lynda and Jessica have each other, as the two have had some great difficulty getting over the loss of Robert Altman when he passed away in January of 2021. At the time, Lynda and Robert had been married for nearly 4 decades. His death was unexpected and devastating for Carter, who described the experience as surreal. In an interview with People magazine, Carter discussed the difficult process of grieving and how she's been finding ways to cope. She shared that she's been relying on the love and support of her family and friends and has found comfort in prayer and meditation. Carter also emphasized the importance of self-care during the grieving process. She's been focusing on her physical health by exercising regularly and eating well as taking time to do things that bring her joy, like listening to music, painting, and spending time in nature. Despite the pain and sadness of losing her husband, Carter remains optimistic and hopeful for the future. She believes Altman's memory will always be with her, and he would want her to continue living a fulfilling life and following her dreams, and anxiety, and encourages others to seek help if they need it. Through her honesty and vulnerability, Carter inspires others to bravely face their own struggles and find the support and strength they need to move forward. Her words of wisdom and hope serve as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always light and hope on the horizon. When it comes to the way that Jessica Altman has managed to handle the death of her father, she's actually used her love of music as a form of therapy. Jessica recently released a music video for a song called Cherry Blossoms. Both the song and its accompanying music video see Jessica take us on a journey through the seasons of life, from the blossoming of youth to the changing colors of autumn. The music video is a visual masterpiece, featuring stunning shots of nature and captivating scenes that perfectly match the song's themes of growth and transformation. Jessica's voice is angelic and soothing, and her lyrics are sure to resonate with anyone who has experienced the ups and downs of life. One of the things that make Jessica Carter Altman such a standout artist is her ability to connect with her audience on a personal level. She draws inspiration from her own experiences and the experiences of those around her, creating music that is raw, honest, and relatable. Her music is a reflection of the human experience, and we can't wait to see what she comes up with next. The premiere of Cherry Blossoms is a must-see for anyone who appreciates beautiful music and stunning visuals. What has Lynda been up to? Besides her relationship with her daughter, Lynda still has plenty going on in both her professional and personal lives. She's also lent her voice to video games like Bethesda's Fallout 4 and Elder Scrolls. But in recent years, she's mainly focused on her music career herself. She's a talented singer-songwriter like her daughter. She released her debut album Portrait in 1978 and has since released several albums, including Crazy Little Things and At Last. Lynda regularly performs at concerts and events across the U.S., showcasing her stunning vocals and incredible stage presence. She's even won 2 cabaret awards for her cabaret performances in 2018 and 2019. She's also an advocate for various causes like women's rights and LGBTQ rights, and has worked with organizations such as the Susan G. Komen Foundation and the Human Rights Campaign.
While she faced many challenges as Wonder Woman, Lynda Carter had to face even greater challenges in real life. Lynda was born on July 24, 1951 in Arizona. Though she wasn't from a showbiz family, she showed an interest for the limelight at an early age. At the age of 5, she appeared in Lou King's talent show. By the time she was in high school, she became passionate about singing and joined a band called Just Us. She would later join another band called The Relatives and toured with them. While a student at Arizona State University, Lynda was voted the most talented student. This inspired her to drop out of school and pursue her music full-time. She joined the Garfin Gathering and toured with them until 1972. While she enjoyed her singing career, she also wanted to branch out to other things. In 1972, she began modeling and was the winner of the Miss World USA beauty pageant. This led to more modeling opportunities. And while Lynda enjoyed modeling, she was also discovering a new passion around this time. Before we tell you more about Lynda Carter's life and career, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more current news and interesting stories. After leaving the Garfin Gathering, Lynda began taking acting classes. She had already succeeded with music and modeling. Now she wanted to try her luck in entertaining others on film and TV. Luckily, her timing couldn't have been better. After winning the Miss World USA beauty pageant, she began getting noticed by prominent TV producers. This led to small roles in popular shows like Nokia and Starsky and Hutch. Eventually, she got roles in films including Bobby Joe and the Outlaw and the TV movie A Matter of Life and Death. But her big break came in 1976 when she was cast as Diana Prince in Wonder Woman. She was the perfect choice for the role. Apart from acting, she performed many of her own stunts and enjoyed doing them. She also came up with the idea for the now famous spin change sequence. The sequence proved so popular, DC Comics included it in later Wonder Woman comics and animations. The show lasted for 3 seasons and established Lynda Carter as one of American television's most popular actresses. While many stars become typecast or one-hit wonders, this wasn't the case for Lynda. After Wonder Woman came to an end, she continued getting roles in films and TV. These included playing Rita Hayworth in the biopic Rita Hayworth, The Love Goddess, Lightning in a Bottle, and Hotline. She even had a small role in Apocalypse Now, which was eventually cut out of the final film. Her TV appearances included shows such as Partners in Crime and Hawkeye. On the surface, it seemed like Lynda was on a winning streak. She seemed to be one of the few actresses who didn't face many career or life struggles. But nothing could be further from the truth. While working on Wonder Woman, Lynda married talent agent Ron Samuels. Unfortunately, it wasn't a happy marriage, and it led to Lynda becoming a heavy drinker. They divorced in 1982, but this didn't put an end to Lynda's alcoholism. She later married attorney Robert Allen Altman in 1984 and remained married to him until his death in February 2021. While this was a happier marriage, he was involved in a major fraud scandal involving the Bank of Credit and Commerce International. This brought additional stress to their marriage, and after the matter was resolved, Lynda realized she had to get her life together. She entered a rehab program which helped her kick her addiction to alcohol. She also managed to continue acting in films and TV shows. She also began singing again and would often perform on stage whenever there was a chance. With the recent film versions of Wonder Woman, there's been a rekindled interest in Lynda Carter and her career. Newer fans are used to Gal Gadot as Diana Prince. Yet many of these newer fans have also watched the original 70s version of the show. This has won Lynda Carter a legion of fans from the younger generation. She even made a cameo appearance as Asteria in the film Wonder Woman 1984, which was released in 2020. She spent much of the 90s and 2000s keeping busy with work. She's made TV appearances in shows like Supergirl, Smallville, and Law & Order. She's also acted in films such as Dukes of Hazzard, Super Troopers, Super Troopers 2, and Sky High. In 2021, we can expect to see her in the mystery The Cleaner, alongside stars like Luke Wilson and Soleil Moonfry. Rights, breast cancer research, and female empowerment. She wished Gal Gadot best of luck for taking on the role of Diana Prince in the revamp of Wonder Woman. For the original Diana Prince, it was heartwarming that a new generation of fans would see a woman fight crime and save the day. The entertainment industry hasn't forgotten about Lynda Carter's excellent performance in the original series. She's recognized as one of the early pioneers of showing female empowerment in American entertainment. She continues to attend conventions to discuss her experience working on the show. Both older and newer fans laud her for giving young women and girls a role model through her performance of Diana Prince. Due to her great performance, the character of Diana Prince was considered to be designated as the honorary ambassador for the empowerment of women and girls by the United Nations. While this didn't come to fruition, it showed how influential Lynda Carter's performance was. In 2014, the actress received a Golden Palm Star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. This was to celebrate her career and achievements. 2 years later, she received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Gracie Award. This was presented by the Alliance for Women in Media Foundation. The award goes to women who have made significant achievements in American media. In 2018, she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Among the attendees were former CBS chairman Les Moonves, who was once one of Lynda's fellow acting students. Lynda Carter has proven to be among that rare breed of stars who have never gone out of style. Many youngsters who watched her in Wonder Woman would offer her work as they came of age. For Super Troopers and its sequel, she was specifically chosen for the role of Governor Jessamine. Director Jay Chandrasekhar was a huge fan of Lynda's and specifically sought her out for the role. He clearly enjoyed working with her, as he also cast her to act in the film version of Dukes of Hazzard. In the Disney film Sky High, she played Principal Powers, who was the headmistress of a school full of superheroes. In one memorable scene, she cheekily says, "I can't do anything more to help you. I'm not Wonder Woman, you know." Her husband, Robert Allen Altman, was heavily involved in the video game industry. This brought opportunities for Lynda to lend her voice to several games. These included the Elder Scrolls series, Fallout 4, and Rage 2. Her first music album was Portrait, which she released in 1978. While she took a long hiatus after this album, she returned to releasing records in 2009 with the release of At Last. Since then, she's performed for the albums Crazy Little Things, Red Rockin' Blues, and the Fallout 4 soundtrack. Now in her 60s, Lynda Carter is showing no signs of slowing down. Even when she battled with alcoholism and troubled marriages, she never stopped working. While she continues to be remembered for her work in Wonder Woman, she's never let that role take over her career. She continues to play versatile roles in films and TV shows. And in her free time, she also performs songs and does voiceover work for video games. And while she's not working, she's advocating for causes she believes in. In other words, Lynda Carter has always lived a full life and has no intentions of slowing down. Are you a fan of Lynda Carter? Do you think new generations will grow to appreciate her work as Wonder Woman? Or does she have to work to win over a new set of fans by taking on newer roles? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.